Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Mr. Paramahansa Purjikacharya Astotar to the Shishimad of Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Purjikacharya Astotar to the Shishimad of Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. And just to let us make sure we know, those assembled devotees include the devotees in cyberspace. Okay, let's see. Glenn? Which one are we on? 34. That sounds right.
I think 33.
What do you say, Tapas?
33?
You think 33, huh? 33. All right, the consensus is 33. Sorry, Glenn. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 11th day of May 2021 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are still in chapter 11 entitled The Universal Form. We're on text 33 at the top of page 480. Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labhasva. Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham. Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham. Mayaivaite nihita purvameva. Mayaivaite nihita purvameva. Nimitta matram bhavasabhyasachin. Tasmatam uttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham. Mayaivaite nihita purvameva. Nimitta matram bhavasabhyasachin. Tasmatam uttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham. Mayaivaite nihita purvameva. Nimitta matram bhavasabhyasachin. Go ahead. Tasmatam uttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham. Mayaivaite nihita purvameva. Nimitta matram bhavasabhyasachin. Tasmatam uttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham. Mayaivaite nihita purvameva. Nimitta matram bhavasabhyasachin. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. Tasmatvam uttishta yasho labhasva. Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham. Mayaivaite nihita purvameva. Nimitta matram bhavasabhyasachin. It's word by words. Tasmat, therefore, tvam, you, uttishta, get up, yashaha, fame, labhasva, gain, jitva, conquering, shatrun, enemies, bhunksva, enjoy, rajam, kingdom, samriddham, flourishing, maya, by me, eva, certainly, ete, all these, nihitaha, killed, purvam eva, by previous arrangement, nimitta matram, just the cause, bhava, become, savyasachin, O Sabyasachi. Prakash, help him with the book. Got it? It's already there? Okay. You're all set. You're all set. Yeah. page 480. Okay. Translation. Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Sorry. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Purport. Savyasachin refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument. Nimitta matram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that, but there is no question of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. As long as they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation are under the superior guidance of God. Thus the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him and to all members of Sri Parampara. Glenn, can you give me a little more here? It sounds like I'm just... Thank you. So this verse, especially the last line, is quite famous, often quoted. Nimitta matram means just be my agent. Be my instrument. We're meant to be like instruments in Krishna's hands. The example is often given of the hand itself. We're in the body as spirit soul. By chapter 11 we should understand that by now. So we're in the body and all our limbs are working for us. We have an idea, I want to drink some water, right? I don't know how the impressions or the impulses are going down from the brain to the nervous system and making the muscles contract. I don't know anything about that, and I don't think about it. It just happens. So how is it working? How is it going on? The arrangement is there by nature, under the guidance of the Supreme Lord. We learned that way back in chapter 9, Maya Jakshena Prakriti. We're in page 480, if you have a book. Are you just going to do some drawing? Take some notes? We have books. We have so many books. So Krishna says in the 9th chapter, Maya Jakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunan in the Konteya Jagad Viparivartate. Very important verse. Maya Jakshena. Adhyakshena means supervision. The word aksha is in there, eyes. By my supervision, prakriti is working, nature is working. Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Shacharacharam. Material nature causes or creates, under my supervision, all the moving and non-moving beings. And it's not just the creation, it's everything that's going on that is being done by nature, seems to be being done automatically, but that's silly. There's such a tremendous amount of organization and intelligence just in our own body, what to speak of the whole universe. Everything is amazing, the arrangement that is going on. So there's a big intelligence behind him. As soon as you say there's intelligence, there's a person. And Krishna says, I'm that person. So Krishna has his mission. We learned that in chapter 4. right? Paratanaya sadhunam vinachaya dushkatam dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I appear in every millennium, either as myself, occasionally, once every 8 billion years or so, or as one of my representatives, or expansions. And I protect the devotees, I annihilate the miscreants, and I reestablish religious principles. So this battle is meant to do that, to reestablish religious principles in the world. Just by the force of time, as Krishna explains in the early part of chapter 4, everything goes topsy-turvy. The organization that's there at the beginning, where Krishna inspires Brahma, and Brahma inspires Narada, Narada teaches Vyasa, it all comes down, and there's a whole set of laws called the Vedas, how to live properly in the world for your best outcome, which is to advance toward going back to Godhead. That all becomes covered by time. Evam parampara praptam imam radhashevadu sakalena hamahata yogo nashta paramtapa. The yoga, the bhakti yoga, is destroyed or obscured by the force of time. Now this kalena mahata means a great deal of time. As time goes on, as we can see, just in my lifetime I can see how disorganized things have gotten. You know? We never had all of these random mass shootings going on. You know? You have a nation with more guns than people, you know, and yet a lot of people don't have any arms. I mean, I don't have any guns, you know, and so a whole bunch of people have whole armories, right? And because it gives them a false sense of security. And a certain percent of those people are going to go crazy, right? Go nuts. And if they happen to have a gun in their pocket, they're going to try to shoot whoever they're angry at. That's what happened in Times Square the other day. Some guy is shooting at his brother or friend, and he hits some other people. So this is a result of time and nature gradually degrading the actual dharma of the world. So what happens? Well, eventually it's all wiped away, and it comes again. But periodically, and in this age, because of the advent of Lord Chaitanya, there's this countervailing force called ISKCON, which is really Lord Chaitanya's movement. And we're meant to be representatives. Practice, learn, become, separate from this madness, and try to spread the chanting of the holy name, which is really the way that things can be resolved. Not any material calculation. So Arjuna is an essential part of this. So Krishna wants him to be just like his hand. To be like a hand. If it's working properly, it's very submissive. Do this, do that, punch yourself, whatever. It just does whatever you want to do. So we're meant to be like that. But if we're rebellious, then if the hand doesn't work properly, it becomes a pain. It can even have to be amputated. So we want to be a submissive servant of Krishna and fulfill his mission. That's our perfection. The perfection of the hand is to serve the body. So that's what nimitta matram is, bhavisabhyasachan. He's saying here that they've already been killed. My plan is that they're going to die. Whether you fight or not, they're all going to die. Somehow or other. He just showed his universal form. He's already chewing them, right? I mean, it's a scary vision. Arjuna sees they're all being chewed up in the mouth of time. Maya is very skilled at putting us to sleep. And so we can live in this dream world that things are going to be okay. Or things are okay. Or I've got it together. I'm good, right? How many Sankirtan devotees will tell you, right? I'm good. Do you say what Vijay says? Can't you be better? But most people think, even in this pandemic, I got my shots. I'm good, right? I'm good. I could. No, you're not. Nobody's good. Time I am. They're destroying everything. And like I read this. Did I tell you this? I read I was curious. What's the chance of a big earthquake where we're sitting? I mean, you really want to find out where you're sitting, where it is, not somewhere across the country. So where else? Google, the great oracle. So I Googled it, and they've done a study between 2014 and 30 years from then, which is 2044. There's a 70% chance of a 7.1 earthquake right where we're sitting right here now. That's pretty high possibility. I mean, I've been here 31 years, and we've had one fairly, scary earthquake. It actually was happening up in Joshua Tree. You know where that is? Right up in the high desert. This is like, 100 miles away or something. But it was so strong out there because no one out there. I don't think anyone was even hurt. There's no one there, But it was shaken down here, and the building was shaken. We had a different set of chandeliers, but they were shaken, And I told you, I ran out the temple, Should have run up on the altar, but I didn't. I ran out the temple. And the sidewalk. I was like doing surfing on the sidewalk, This is back in, 25 years ago. Okay, I mean, I didn't freak out about it. It was over in a matter of seconds, really. But if it really gets bad, I mean, it could be really a tsunami here. We're right on the ocean. So this is a lesson for us. Life is like that. Material life is like that. I remember there was I've been here so long. Dawes Street. All right, Dawes Street. I mean, it's SanDiego. Some poor woman had parked her car across the street from where I am, just beyond Hornblende. I didn't see it happen, but I could see it out of my window. And one of these trees, a branch, just suddenly, was a dead branch, and it decided to fall on her car, on her side, and killed her. Yeah, she was killed. I mean, this happens all the time. These things happen. Who could predict something like that? So the idea, what is that verse? Samashatahi padapallavaplavam mahatpadam punyayasho marari bhavambudi vatsapadam parampadam yadvipadam natesham. You have to be deaf not to hear the poetry in that verse. Padam. So what does it say? Samashrita means taking full shelter. One who takes full shelter of the boat of the lotus feet of Krishna. Why do we need a boat? Because we're in the ocean of samsara. It's very dangerous. Samashrita ye padapallava plavam. The plava is a boat, and padapallava is the lotus feet. Mahatpadam, of who? Of him, who is the rest of the whole Mahatattva, the whole universe. Or another meaning is his lotus feet are where all the Mahatmas take shelter. Mahatpadam. Punya yasha. It's such an important concept. Sanskrit is so packed tight, with meaning. Punya yasha means that just by glorifying him, yasha, his glories produce punya. If you glorify Krishna, like chant Hare Krishna, Krishna, automatically you become pious. All kinds of sinful reactions are destroyed. You don't even know what they are. And you become purified. Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon. So what's the result of taking shelter of this boat? Bhavambudir. Who can say what Bhavambudir is? Alex, you know what this word means. Bhava? Bhavasagara? Yeah. Bhava means change. And in this context, mostly it stands for birth, old age, disease, death. That's Bhava. Ambudi. It's Ambudi means ocean of water, So the ocean of water, which is the ocean of birth and death, shrinks down to how much water? In the hoofprint of? Cat. Not even a cow. Cow's a little bigger, but it's so you can easily step over it. In other words, the point is, it's not even like a boat where you get in now, you strap yourself in. Now we're going to cross that ocean, No, the whole ocean just shrinks down. In other words, you easily cross over it. Mahatpadam punyasha bhavambudi vatsapadam parampadam. Because you've gone to the param, the supreme abode. These are the devotees who take full shelter of that lotus feet through service. Okay. And then it says, padam padam yadvipadam natesham. Not for them, natesham is this place where there's danger at every step. Maya Devi was so skilled at convincing us, I'm good, I know there's danger way over there. I just read about it in the paper or on the internet. But right here, we more or less got it. This is one of the silver linings of this pandemic. Everyone realizes there's danger everywhere, Now, mostly it's just producing a whole lot of anxiety and paranoia and depression, because people, they don't know how you can, take solace in Krishna consciousness. So here, this is he's winding up now. The chapter is, well, there's going to be a whole set of prayers now from Arjun, which are very nice. But this nimitta matram, just one second. This nimitta matram word is very important for us. It means our perfection is becoming Krishna's agents, like his hands. That's what it means to be a servant of anyone, to serve their desires. And that's our perfection. Go ahead, Dhanavar, you have a question?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. My question is, why Maya Devi is doing, like, trying to cheat, that I'm not cheat, but like making us feel that, oh, it's okay, but it's not okay. What is the purpose? Why was
the idea is this, is that we are rebellious souls. This is the scenario, right? Is that we belong back home, back to Godhead. We're not there. Why not? Because we don't want to be there. We want to try to be the enjoyer and the controller and the owner. You see? That's not our constitutional position. And therefore, we suffer. Maya's job, she's the jailer, is to give us a chance to try to imitate Krishna and try to be the controller and the enjoyer, and then to punish us, through the material energy. It doesn't have any meaning unless there is also an opportunity for knowledge. And that's why, there's a certain part of the Kali Yuga where there really isn't, a chance. It gets so bad. But we are in the part of the Kali Yuga that's really part of the golden age. It's the beginning. There's a prediction, and Prabhupada is, certified. 10,000 year period after Lord Chaitanya's advent, which is a little more than 500 years ago now. 540 years ago. 35 years ago. So there'll be a little back current in the development of the Kali Yuga, when Krishna consciousness will become predominant and people will be chanting and there'll be virtue everywhere rather than all of this madness. It seems impossible to consider, but I'm telling you, 60 years ago, before Prabhupada started this movement, this would be impossible to conceive. All over the world, people chanting Hare Krishna. In America, a bunch of hippies giving up their, the drugs and sex and rock and roll, and following the four regs. That would be even more impossible than, But it happened, and it's still happening to this day. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So our personal perfection is to get with the program. And Maya Devi, being a servant of Krishna, and what does Krishna say? He said, Daivayeshu gunamahi mama maya daratya, that this divine energy of mind, composed of the three modes of nature, is impossible to cross over on your own. But mame viyepapadyante maya metang tarantite. But those who surrender unto me can easily cross beyond it. Why? Because she's ultimately Krishna's servant. And she loosens our grip to the degree that we are sincerely trying to serve Krishna and remember Krishna and that way. And we can tell if we're making advancement, because her attractions become less attractive. That's right there in the third canto. If you study the teachings of Kapila Dev, the false ego is kind of dissolved, and vairagya comes naturally. So that's her function. She has the thankless task of being the jailer. And it's not bars. It's all these illusory conceptions that we have that have been, that we wanted to try to convince ourselves that we can enjoy in this world. So that's her function. But she also functions, she's an expansion of Radharani. She's an expansion of Yoga Maya, it's an expansion of Radharani. So it's all a plan. If we follow the program as it is, then Maya Devi will be our friend. Just like the three modes of nature. Well, how was this building even built? We didn't build it. We fixed it up. But it's now being used for Krishna. So the very things that can act as lures to make us forget Krishna, we can use in the service of Krishna. Most obviously, every day, the food stuff. that can be a tremendous source of sinful activity, meat eating, all of this stuff, or even just, cooking for yourself, even if it's vegetarian, it's sinful. Not as sinful, but it's binding. So all of those things are present, the beautiful fruits and so many things, mango, Mango can be offered to Krishna, obviously, and then it becomes an agent for purification, for becoming closer to Krishna. Whereas if you just, pick out a nice mango at the store, cut it up and eat it, or feed it to your family and eat it without any reference, then that's binding. What to speak of meat eating, which is so sinful and so binding. So Maya is giving us a chance, as Krishna is. And if we surrender to Krishna, then she'll release us. And we can tell if we are being released by becoming less attracted to her wiles. If you live in this world and you buy something online or you visit some site, after a while they get so much information on you, right? And so they're constantly sending stuff. Sometimes it even comes in the mail. Mostly it comes through, the phone or, So the devotee just deletes. You delete. First of all, it can be very dangerous. You click on it, and before you get, they've got you, right? They're into your computer. Some poison, the virus. But if you really don't have any material, the advertising falls on deaf ears. It's like, I don't care about that. They're advertising some restaurant or something or some whatever nonsense. So that means that you're being protected. You're attracted to Krishna. You shouldn't do it, and after a while you don't even have a desire to do it. That's a great blessing. It's a great blessing. We talked recently about addictions. Being in the material world, especially in the Kali Yuga, means to be strongly addicted to this and that and this and that, and some of you're able to get free of that one, but then you got on this one. It's binding. These are the famous knots in the heart. But if you're Hare Krishna, you're chanting with concentration and prayer, so many prayers, the association of devotees, the service of the Lord, the prasadam, the whole app, you find that those knots being cut. There's verses. Yat pada pankaja palasha valasa bhaktya. You know this one, Prakash? I'll give it to you. You can know it in 2 days. I'll give you 2 days. Yat pada pankaja palasha valasa bhaktya karmasha yam gudita mudguta yanti sanda. Prabhupada would quote this verse. It's exactly where we live. Pada Pankaja is the lotus feet of Krishna, right? Pada Pankaja Palasha, but not just the lotus feet, the toes, the devotees, they're serving the toes of the lotus feet. Vilasa, and enjoying Vilasa. Vilasa is spiritual pleasure. Bhaktya, through bhakti. Pada Pankaja Palasa Vilasa Bhaktya. Karmashayam guditamudgutayanti santa. This is for the santas, the saints, the same word in English. We're sitting in SanDiego, and there's Santa Clara up the street. It's the same word. The santas. What happens? Karmashayan. Now this word asha is important for us. We sing it every morning for the Tulsi, right? My aspiration, my ardent hope is that I can become your servant, and I can always see the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. We're praying like that. So asha, but asha can also be material. The 16th chapter, there's a verse, asha, pasha, shatar, badha. The demons are bound by hundreds and hundreds of material aspirations, which are like ropes. Asha, pasha, So here it says, karmashayam, material desires, fruit of desires, are like gratitam, they're like knots in the heart. They're cut. Udgatayanti santa. But others, tadvanna riktamatayo, whose minds are devoid of bhakti, what to speak of the karmis, the gross materialists, the jnanis, the impersonalists, the yogis, they have maybe more refined knots, but they're still knots. I didn't get that siddhi yet. I can't walk on water, or whatever the yogis think, Oh, if only I could travel to that planet, It's all material. So they cannot stop the waves of material desire, just like our old friend Salburi Muni. You ever hear Salburi Muni? Maybe not. He's in the Krishna book. I don't know. He's a famous yogi. He meditated in all places in the Yamuna River, not on the Yamuna River, inside, down, underneath. He's meditating in the Yamuna River. He means he's missing all the leela that's going on. He's down in the river. So, okay, he's in the river. But he was, he wasn't meditating on Krishna. And so, but he's performing a severe austerity, he's developing powers and this and that. So what happens is that it's a fish, there's some fish copulating for a few seconds. He gets agitated. I can't take it anymore. So he comes up, he wants to get married. So by this time he's old and wrinkly. You stay in the bath a little while longer, Your feet, so he's, but still he wants to get married. So he goes to some king or somebody has 50 daughters, beautiful young girls. So he says, please give me one of your daughters. So the king says, oh, of course, Maharaj. Anyone that wants to marry you, we can be fine. So Shabri Muni said, okay, I get it. I'm old and wrinkly. None of them are going to marry me. So using his mystic powers, he turns into Clark Gable. I don't know if that means anything to you. He was an old actress, very handsome. Who would it be today? I don't know. So suddenly they all want to marry him. So now he has 50 wives. And great. So now he's getting married and all these kids. So now, after a while he's thinking, what have I done? I really blew it. So I think he goes on. But the point was, it didn't help him because he wasn't doing bhakti. So that's what this verse is about. For those who are serving the toes of the lotus feet of Krishna, they're experiencing such pleasure that the material knots and all of those desires are cut asunder and eliminated. But if you're doing anything else, what to speak of karma, fruit of activity, which just ties the knots tighter and tighter. But even impersonal meditation or yogic meditation for the purpose of siddhis and going to this planet, higher planets, all this business. All the demons Krishna killed were great yogis. It wasn't that they were born as a big snake or whatever. They all took those forms, this shape-shifting. That's part of the yogic siddhi. But they had not a bit of piety. It was all demonic, But it was power. So we can experience that, by Lord Chaitanya's powerful system of Harinam Sankirtan and the process we've been given. We can escape from the bonds of this Kali Yuga and take as many people with us as possible. And that's the perfection of our lives. All we have to do is become Krishna's agents. Are we okay, Danavari?
Thank you so much. Yes, Prabhu. Very
Okay.
nice.
Let's go
Nicely
on.
explained. Hare Krishna.
All right, chant. I'll chant, you chant. Text 94. 34. Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadvatam cha karnan tatanyan api yodha viran maya hatang stvam jahima vyatishta yudyasvajeta sivane sapatnan. All right. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. Purport. Every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but He is so kind and merciful to His devotees that He wants to give the credit to His devotees who carry out His plan according to His desire. Life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Krishna consciousness and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of a spiritual master. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by His mercy, and the plans of the devotees are as good as His plans. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. So just one note on this. I've often thought, you don't hear this so much, but think of this a minute and see if I'm right. Srila Prabhupada, came to America famously, with $7, and no friends and no followers, in Mission Impossible, right? But it wasn't impossible. He was completely successful. And he had, certain skills that he had through his life, that were completely needed in this environment. How to deal with people and business sense. They try to cheat the devotees out of everything. At first, the simple devotees, and they almost took all, whatever little money was almost taken completely away. But Prabhupada was so sharp, he was able to deal with the lawyers. I read this book, I'll Build You a Temple, the Jew Story by Giriraj Swami. And Prabhupada's business sense and his way of dealing was so critical that the thing came out successful. and so Krishna, his plan was that this movement would grow, and Srila Prabhupada was the perfect agent. There were so many senior god brothers who were great, had studied all their lives, great scholars, Sanskrit, and this and that, but they wouldn't have come to America in a million years and associate with those lechas and yavanas and hippies. Are you kidding? They sent Bhakti Vikas Swami has written a very nice essay on this, all about Prabhupada's getting on that boat, getting on the Jaladuta boat. Just think of the courage that took, and the faith, and then when he went through on the voyage, the story. So it's you can see, Krishna's plan. He needs certain people in certain spots, and Prabhupada was the perfect agent, and it amazingly came out successful. Okay, so here's like all these are great leaders. Dronacharya was, Arjuna's teacher, Bhishma, a great fighter, even greater than Arjuna, even though he's elderly. Jayadratha, these are all the top. Karna, they're all, these are the leading warriors on the other side. And Krishna says they're already dead. Okay, now, Sanjay. Sanjay uvacha. Etachudva vachanam keshavasya. Kritanjali vepamana kiriti. Namaskritva bhuya evaha krishnam. Sagadgadam bita pranamya. Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. Purport. As we have already explained, because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna became bewildered in wonder. Thus he began to offer his respectful obeisances to Krishna again and again, and with faltering voice he began to pray, not as a friend, but as a devotee in wonder. And here it says, bita. He's a little bit afraid now. Okay, Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna Vacha. Stane Rishikesha Tava Prakirtya Jagat Parishyat Janurajyate Cha Rakshangsi Bitani Disho Dravanti Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangha. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Purport. Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened, and as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded, in outer space there were present many demigods, siddhas, and the intelligentsia of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it. But others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. So this principle, this we learn, as we will learn in chapter 16, there's demons in every age, The population may be a little higher now, but in previous ages, the power of the demons was incredible sometimes, Like Hiranyakashipu, how long did he reign? Many, many years, as frightening everybody. So they're always there, but Krishna has a plan. to eradicate them. And it always ultimately happens. As again, our job is to get in tune with Krishna's plan. Just like Arjun's problem, was because he was refusing to do what Krishna wanted, even though it was so painful. And this is something that also we have to face. Sometimes it's exactly what we don't want to do, but we know that Krishna wants us to do it, and we should do it. And if that overcomes our reluctance, then we make real advancement. Because it's our conditioning. It's our conditioning over many, many lifetimes that is making us hesitant to serve Krishna or even believe in Him, believe in God. I mean, I read yesterday the Catholic schools are closing down. Yeah, the parents don't want to send their kids. There's so many scandals, whatever. Faith in established religion is reducing year by year in America. For years, America was 75%, 80%. Europe was down, hardly any. In England, so many churches closed up, probably, described. But America now also, because of the things are just developing, because of the demons. But at the same time, Krishna consciousness is there, countering. So whatever Krishna does is good. That's also, we have to have that faith. What is that? Tateno kampam sutsamikshimano. To see the Lord's mercy in everything, even when it seems to be against our, desires or painful. You can see that maintaining that positive attitude toward the Lord is everything, in every circumstance. So this is a challenge, Otherwise, it's if God is worshipped as an order supplier and He doesn't supply your orders, and you lose faith, right? Oh, please save my husband. He has COVID. He's not saved. Where's God? There's no God. It's so easy. Okay, text 37. Kasmachate nanameran mahatman gadiyase brahmano pyadi kartre ananta devesha dagan Tvamakshadam sadasat tatparang yat. Okay. O Great One, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O Limitless One, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. Purport. By this offering of obeisances, Arjuna indicates that Krishna is worshipable by everyone. He is all-pervading, and He is the soul of every soul. Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Mahatma, which means that He is most magnanimous and unlimited. Ananta indicates that there is nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Supreme Lord. And Devesha means that He is the controller of all demigods and is above them all. He is the shelter of the whole universe. Arjuna also thought that it was fitting that all the perfect living entities and powerful demigods offer their respectful obeisances unto Him, because no one is greater than Him. Arjuna especially mentions that Krishna is greater than Brahma, because Brahma is created by Him. Brahma is born out of the lotus stem grown from the navel abdomen of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. The navel in the abdomen, we fixed that. From the navel in the abdomen of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who is Krishna's plenary expansion. Therefore, Brahma and Lord Shiva, who is born of Brahma, and all other demigods must offer their respectful obeisances. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord is respected by Lord Shiva and Brahma and similar other demigods. The word Aksharam is very significant because this material creation is subject to destruction, but the Lord is above this material creation. He is the cause of all causes, and being so, He is superior to all the conditioned souls within this material nature, as well as the material cosmic manifestation itself. He is therefore the all-great Supreme. So, in Krishna consciousness, you have the full conception of the Lord. It really begins with this sense of awe and reverence. Prabhupada sometimes instructed us how we should see Radha and Krishna. So our initial understanding is to worship them in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan as great, the master, the source of everything. Because that's our disease, is that we're trying to compete with Krishna and be our little masters and controllers and enjoyers, So we should have that element of awe and reverence to knock down that big mountain of false ego we've been building up for millions of births, But at the same time, Prabhupada gave us, a Krishna book. I mean, it was made, in many ways you can see the way the movement developed with the books that came out. When Prabhupada came, he had just those 3 volumes of First Canto, which contained everything in it, But there wasn't much about Krishna Leela, who Krishna really was, And so Prabhupada stopped doing the Bhagavatam in 1970, and he did the Krishna book. So the devotees who were chanting Hare Krishna, we could really understand the all attractive pastimes of the Lord. And it changed the movement. Suddenly there were all these paintings, some of them were crude at first, but we had an idea of the richness and the sweetness of Krishna's Leela, magnificence also. So both things have to be there. We need to know the power and the glory. I often give this example, but it fits in this instance also. What keeps us moving in the right direction? What can keep us moving? So what moves us on the material plane? Attraction and repulsion. In other words, fear is a big motivator, but so is attraction. So these things we can engage in Krishna service. We should be fearful of birth and death, old age and disease. Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshana Darshanam. This is part of knowledge. It makes up our inner reality that keeps us convinced to proceed in devotional service. So, but at the same time, there's so much in Krishna consciousness, the chanting of the holy name, the deities, the festivals, the devotees, the beauty, the taste of prasadam, which is simply attractive. It's not that we're afraid, we're being attracted away from the stale things of this world, and trying to use our very senses, which are now saturated with desire for material things, so that we become attracted to serve Krishna, feel happy in that, especially the ears. What you hear, become more attracted to hear glories of Krishna than all of the other sounds, which is so contaminating. So that's now we're right in the middle of the most awe-inspiring and somewhat, frightening aspect of Krishna. Arjuna says, Bita means he's frightened. So we need that. This is the aspect of Krishna that is very real. And he has all these sides, multifaceted. And when, the devotee really develops humility and love and sincerity, he reveals more and more of his most sweet, attractive, all-enchanting form, which is really the real Krishna ultimately. Okay, we're almost out of time. I'm going to save this text 38. This is one of the first verses I ever memorized. And the reason is that there is a, let me see. Here, no, it's one in text 40, but when I first started exploring spiritual life, I got in touch with the Ramakrishna Mission, I think it is, or the Vedanta Society, I forget which one, in New York. They had a very opulent, set up there. They had a big auditorium where you'd sit for the lectures. You had very comfortable seats, like in a movie theater, And there he was up on the stage on a podium, like a priest, church sermon. And he's speaking on these verses, and he would always chant because this text 40, because at the end you have Sarvam Samapam Tatosi Sarva, you are everything. It kind of has a little impersonal tinge to it. So they're in Mayavadis, I was lucky not to become a Mayavadi. So I was looking, and I got this verse, 38, and somehow I became very attracted to this verse, Tramadi Deva. So we'll save that one for tomorrow. Any last word, Dhanavari? We okay?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Quick question. When you said Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam, that means all these Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi
Yeah,
dukkha
what
dosha.
that phrase appears in the list of elements of knowledge in the 13th chapter, which we're coming up on, in text 8 through 11, I think it is. And he gives a whole list of elements of knowledge that we need to have. And one of them is Janma Mrityu Dukkha Doshana Darshan, to always see, to be aware of the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. You know, not because that keeps us enthusiastic about getting out of this material world. Okay?
Yes.
All glories to
Thank
Srila
you so
Prabhupada.
much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.